This isn't love, or at least, not yet. Most people don't realize they're catching feelings until the friendship already starts changing. And the dangerous part is, by the time you notice it, you're already emotionally attached. You start imagining life without them for 2 seconds, and your chest reacts before your brain does. That's not casual anymore. And this is where things quietly become complicated. One day, they're just the person you send random TikToks to at 2 a.m., and the next day, you catch yourself rereading their messages with a stupid smile on your face, like your brain secretly joined a romance movie without asking your permission first. Then, the overthinking starts spreading everywhere. You replay conversations from 3 weeks ago. Tiny changes in their tone suddenly affect your mood. And the terrifying part is, emotionally lonely people often don't realize they're falling first. They just think they've finally found someone who makes their nervous system feel quiet. So now your brain starts asking questions you were never emotionally prepared for. Wait, am I catching feelings? But sometimes the answer scares people more than the confusion itself. Because if you're wrong, you risk destroying a connection that already feels easy to exist around. And if you're right, everything changes. A lot of people aren't actually afraid of romance. They're afraid of losing the one person who finally made them feel less alone. The difficult part is that deep friendship and emotional attachment can feel almost identical in the beginning. Both make you think about someone constantly. Both make ordinary moments feel emotionally charged. Both make your body slowly associate their presence with relief. And this next sign is where most people accidentally cross the line without noticing. The first thing to pay attention to is what happens when distance appears. Not jealousy, distance, silence. The weirdest sign usually shows up when they're gone, when they stop replying for a little too long, when their attention suddenly shifts somewhere else and your emotional state quietly shifts with it. You don't just miss them anymore. Your emotional state starts reacting to their absence. The scary part is realizing their attention now affects your sense of calm. That's usually the moment it stops feeling safe. And this is where things quietly become dangerous. People who spent most of their lives feeling emotionally misunderstood get attached very fast to people who finally make them feel seen. Sometimes it's not even romance at first. Sometimes finally feeling understood feels so rare that your brain mistakes it for love. That's why this feeling hits differently for emotionally exhausted people. Your body starts treating their presence like emotional relief. And once that happens, losing access to them no longer feels casual. But the next sign is the one most people completely miss. Watch how much of yourself starts shifting around them. Real friendship usually removes performance. You can show up tired, weird, emotionally messy, completely unfiltered, and nothing feels threatened. But emotional attachment slowly creates self-awareness. Suddenly, you reread texts before sending them. You care way too much about tiny changes in their energy. A single dry message can ruin your mood for hours. You stare at their notification longer than you should. You reread one sentence they sent 3 hours ago, trying to figure out if their tone changed. And that's usually the moment your feelings already know something your brain is still trying to deny. That changes everything. Then comes the nervous system test. Sometimes attraction begins before your emotions even catch up. Your body notices first. With close friends, touch feels grounding. Your body stays calm. But emotional attraction creates alertness inside tiny moments. They touch your arm for half a second, and somehow your brain replays it the entire night. Accidentally brushing hands suddenly feels electrically important. After hanging out, the silence in your room suddenly feels louder than usual. Your body becomes hyper-aware around them in ways you can't fully explain. And this is usually when friendship starts changing. Some people don't fall in love first. Their nervous system relaxes first. And then the emotional dependency quietly follows behind it. But the clearest sign usually appears in the future. Not the fantasy version, the automatic version. When your brain imagines them years from now, what role do they naturally occupy in your life? Some people picture lifelong friendship, familiarity, growing old while still understanding each other in ways nobody else can. But other people unconsciously start placing them inside every future version of their life, not just part of your future, part of the version of life that actually feels emotionally okay. Almost nobody notices this shift until it already controls them emotionally. Because some connections stop feeling optional long before they become romantic. Sometimes we call it friendship because calling it love feels too dangerous. And honestly, that sentence alone explains more people than they realize. Sometimes finally feeling understood feels so rare that your brain mistakes it for love, especially if you grew up emotionally lonely. especially if most of your life has felt like hiding parts of yourself just to stay emotionally acceptable to other people. So when someone finally feels like home to your nervous system, your feelings can become overwhelming very fast. And maybe that's why this confusion hurts so much. Maybe this hurts so much because this person slowly stopped feeling emotionally replaceable. You don't need to force an answer before your emotions are ready to reveal one. Some connections take time to understand. Some people enter your life as comfort and quietly become something much deeper later. And some of the deepest emotional bonds start as friendships nobody expected to matter this much. But pay attention to what your body already knows before your mind catches up. Because the moment someone becomes your emotional safe place, losing them stops feeling casual. If this felt painfully familiar, you're probably not alone here. Maybe that's the real difference. Maybe this scares you so much because your body already treats them like home. Some people quietly become impossible to lose. When did it happen for you?